everyone. Welcome to this episode of Talking About Rock. I'm Rob Edwards. Well, each week we try to bring you different bands from around the globe. Today we're so happy to have with us some local guys from Nashville, some up-and-coming rockers. Please welcome to the show, Chris, Keith, Steve, and Dave from Blackwood. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going well.
Thanks for having us.
Excellent. Yeah, so glad you guys could take the time. I know you're busy and stuff, but so give our audience a little bit of filling in history of how this all started out. I guess it originally started out as just a studio project, right?
Yeah, really, it kind of started with I guess Keith and I in 2020 couldn't stand it, so we just kept getting together.
Everybody was in isolation from COVID. It was like right at the beginning of the shutdown.
Right.
So like 2 months into it, I was literally going crazy. I'm like, I've been playing with this guy for 15 years. We're best friends. Why are we playing?
Right.
So I text him and he's like, yeah, come over Tuesday. So we just started just banging out ideas left and right. So I don't know. It might have been a good thing because we had a ton of ideas that came out of that, which ended up as a lot of these songs.
Well, yeah. So I mean, we did all that, but then we were like, all right, we got to get a band together.
Yeah.
Right. You got to have a band together. Right?
It's like, hey, this is really cool. So let's.
It was weird as we were talking about trying to find singers and pitching it to people, and they were like, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. Okay, whatever. No big deal. If you don't want it, we don't need it. It's all good. But
then I posted on your Facebook.
No, you text me or something.
I messaged you.
I was in the studio. Yeah, I was in the studio with a different band recording their stuff, and I was like on a break, and I was like, oh hell, okay,
that'll work.
That's something for you right now. I just sent a Dropbox link to him right then, and then like literally, I think 45 minutes max later, he had sent me the files. Now I put it together backwards, honestly, but he had already had it all back to me. And when I put it back together, I was like, holy crap, we liked it the wrong way.
So Chris, were you performing with someone else at the time, or you were just freed up and you saw that posting?
So at the time, I was in a kind of a heavy metal band. I have a lot of roots in heavy metal, and we were kind of on the tail end. We weren't doing a lot, and like David said, I messaged him. He had done some other project, and I was like, if you ever need a feature, I can play guitar, I'll come sing. And he sent me those tracks. And it's actually funny, those tracks turned into Inundated One, the first single that we released that actually just got played on the Chattanooga. It was at 95.7. Is that right, David?
Clarksville,
sorry, Clarksville radio station. But he sent me that. I absolutely adored the tracks that him and Keith had put together with Steve. And I wrote lyrics to it, wrote the melody, sent it back. We pieced it together after a couple back and forth. And I was like, actually, that part goes here. And it became, I think, untouched as Inundated One. We just re-recorded the tracks, with us as a group afterwards. But it was kind of serendipitous the way that we all kind of got together. He said, hey, do you want to come jam sometime? And I was like, I got nothing going on. I will come jam. Do I need to bring my guitar?
Right. I got nothing but time right now. Yeah.
Nobody knew he was bringing the guitar either. I was manipulating this whole thing.
He's the puppet master behind the scenes.
Excellent. So
Chris, it was good though. It really worked out because I haven't played with another guitar player in forever. Because us three were in a band before, and it was just the three of us, and someone else. But wondering what the dynamic would be, and it was like almost instant. Everybody just kind of clicked. I'm like, okay,
it's one of those moments where that night, oh, we got to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And I was in the same boat as Keith there. I'd been playing for about 15 years, and I'd never found a guitarist that you really find that moment where it's just like, yes, we click, we mesh. So most of the time I handled all the guitar duties myself. And I'd say by 10 minutes into the first time we jammed together, I was like, this is the guy I click with on
I
guitar.
thought the same thing. I was like, whoa, Man, I might step up my game.
Little bit of competition going on there, huh, Keith? So are you guys
not
sharing
really.
lead
We're
duties, or are
friendly.
you going back and forth, or you're somebody's mostly rhythm, or how's that working?
No,
We
no,
share
I
it
got
pretty
the answer for
equally.
this. I got the answer.
Oh, there's a different answer.
It was co-guitarist. I think
Okay, all right.
I
There
think
you
that's
go.
a really cool
Yeah,
term.
it's pretty cool.
Co-guitarist. That was from
That's a
another
perfect way to
guitar
describe it
band.
too, because a lot of times in bands with multiple guitarists, you get egos going and you get back and forth and who can do this or do that better.
Right.
I think me and Keith both have our voice in the guitar and we both use it to better the song, not our ego. And I think that's really what makes what we do special. We're not fighting over solos. We're not fighting over the way we phrase solos. We look at it from the point of view of what can we do to make the song better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard that from lots of musicians, really, and they really look for that, in a musician to see if they're playing to the song and they're just not playing to highlight themselves, right? It's all about adding to the song and the
Well,
experience.
that'll come out. That'll show. I mean, immediately you'll just know, like, oh, great.
Well,
here
they
we
don't
go.
mesh.
Yeah,
Mesh
Yeah.
is terrible.
yeah, it's the worst.
A
So
long night.
we try to balance it out, and it's really not even a conscious decision of balance, and it just happens. We know each other's space, and that goes for just everybody in the band and how they work. So
Yeah. When we're jamming, a lot of times one of us, if we're coming up on a solo, if it's a song that we haven't written yet, we'll get the proverbial nod. Just you take this one, or back and forth.
Whatever.
Or like on our newest one, it's like, oh no, let's just trade every bar.
Every 2 bars they're trading off. It's
Yeah,
killer.
like 8 times.
Badass.
Like,
Yeah, it's
all
unreal.
right.
It's really,
Yeah.
really fast transitions back and forth between the two of us. That was, I think, Keith came up with that idea as we were playing around with it. Something
we
you
couldn't
don't really
decide.
see a lot anymore. Yeah, we couldn't decide how long the solo length needed to be, so we just kept doing one bar per each.
Like, let's just do it this way. We haven't done it yet. Might as well.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's definitely an outstanding track for sure. As a lot of the stuff you guys are coming out with is amazing, for sure.
Thanks.
We're definitely going to play some video for that from you guys playing at the Ext-In there in Nashville. But I wanted to go around the horn here real quick and just talk a little bit quick about influences for all you guys, and then we'll check out that video. So let's start with Keith. Who would you say would be your musical influences as you've been playing through the years?
Well, I'm old school. I like a lot of old school metal. So I was raised on Eddie Van Halen and Randy Rhoads and, people like that. I have a love for Neil Schon of Journey. I just think he's just an amazing guitar player. And
I think he's way underrated. He is amazing.
He really is, and I just admire his playing a lot. But I like a lot of old school metal, but I do like some jazz too, and I like listening to blues and old school country. You
got to get a little influence all around the circle, right? You can't just be one area, right?
Yeah, it's really good. I'm not going to sit here and admit, or say that I listen to country music all the time. But if it pops up in my playlist and it's just a random song like Marty Stewart or something like that, I'm going to listen to it, because I love Marty Stewart. He's the best. But anyway, I more hard rock metal, but I do like some other stuff too. So.
Okay, so Steve, what about you? Who would you say are some of your influences?
I would say, as far as rock, I'm going to have to go with Geezer and Getty.
Oh, you can't go wrong there at all.
Because Geezer, he's got that nasty tone.
Oh, he's amazing.
And he's like the Titanic coming through your living room. And Getty, for the prog stuff, he's just killer bass player. But outside of rock, Jaco Pastorius was a monster bass player. And if you're a bass player and you listen to Jaco, you may want to quit. And then I would have to say, as far as just development as an all-around musician, my hero as a bass player would have to be Joe Osborne from the Wrecking Crew.
Nice.
Taught me how to play songs, not to show out, just how to support a song. You know, he's played on 100 #1 singles. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty good dude to check out.
Definitely. So Dave, what about yourself there? What would you say were
Oh,
some of your
man,
influencers, stuff you had growing up?
Stuff I had going on, I would say my father was in music a lot when I was growing up. That was a big deal. So that was like music in the home. That whole thing impacted it a lot. And I guess drummer wise, early on was Lars. I mean, a lot of guys, drummers, whatever, went through that. Not went through it, but you know what I mean. That was a phase. And then more recent,
There's the speed metal phase, right?
Yeah. And more recently, it's been I don't know. I go back to John Bonham so much, like you can't beat that. And then
Everybody has tried for sure.
Tommy Aldridge is just nutty. You know what I mean?
You told me once Matt Sorum, and I agree.
I like Matt Sorum too. I mean, there's too many to name. I mean, I went through pop punk and metal and all this stuff. I like it all. So it doesn't really. I don't know. Like everybody said, I get influenced by too many things.
Yeah, you definitely hit some huge ones there.
You got to be like a sponge.
Yeah.
Right. Tommy Aldridge for sure is still amazing. He's still out there doing it. You know.
Yeah.
So
It's my favorite rock drummer or metal rock drummer.
very cool. So Chris, let's end with you here. And what would you say some of your influences are? You talked a little bit about you came from metal and things like that, but you got a nice unique voice also in all the songs, a nice unique sound as well. So what would you say influenced some of that?
So vocally, my biggest influence is Chris Cornell, followed by Miles Davis, or not Miles Davis, Miles Kennedy. I do like Miles Davis quite a bit, though.
He's a trumpet player, man. This is our trumpet player.
That's okay. We're not live, but I'm keeping it in.
Keep it in. But Miles Kennedy and Chris Cornell are probably the two largest vocal inspirations for me. Definitely Chris Cornell. But early years, Metallica was my life. So James Hetfield, especially on guitar, he was my idol. Kirk Hammett, Dave Mustaine. Then I got into Paul Gilbert, John Petrucci, things like Mr. Big, Racer X.
Yeah, love Mr. Big. Yeah, we spoke to Billy Sheen a while back. Love Mr. Big.
Yeah, love me some Mr. Big. But I've been on a long journey. I started with Metallica and Megadeth, and then after I learned basically their entire catalog on guitar, I moved on to things like Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix. And once I did that for a little while, I started getting into little heavier things like Slipknot is one of my all-time favorite heavier bands, or if you'd call them a new metal band, they're one of my favorites.
Newer metal, yeah, for sure.
And then recently, I've been listening to a lot of bands like Periphery, their single Blood Eagle they released a few years ago. Really opened some doors musically, where you can kind of have something that's really heavy and a little proggy, but still keep its roots in just standard metal.
Right.
But all my influences, my mother, she raised me listening to anything I could possibly get my hands on. So, because she grew up listening to the music from the 50s and the 60s, so I got all that in me, all the way on to the new stuff. I don't think it's healthy for any musician to just block themselves off in one genre or one area, because you can find inspiration in anything. I mean,
you have to remember where that music came from and where it started, and what were the influences before that, and how it changed. And that's definitely what you need to go through and see for sure. But
I'll listen to a Marvin Gaye song and just go, "Oh, that is beautiful. I need to figure out a way to incorporate something like that into metal."
Right, into metal, right? And you mentioned some really big metal names, so I want to ask you my standard Metallica question. Metallica album, favorite album.
My favorite Metallica album, without being too controversial, I think my favorite would be just from the time that I was born and when it was out, would be Load and Reload.
Oh,
okay. I wasn't expecting that one. Okay.
I mean, I know everybody, they're gonna hit you with Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets and tell you that they died after that. I think you really you start to see them grow as musicians and really lose their care of what people think they need to write around Load and Reload. It's just what they want to write. They get some bluesy feel in there. My absolute favorite song by Metallica is Fixer. It's just, I mean, it's a 9-minute journey of emotion.
Great, great. And one last thing. So you brought up Megadeth as well, and you guys know Steve Libby from Lost Circus. He's huge Megadeth fan. You know, I think he goes to like everything that has Dave Mustaine's name on it. He's going to check that out pretty much. You know, but did you guys catch the show out there when they played?
I did. I was with Lamb of God and In Flames and Trivium. It was an amazing show, start to finish, all 5 hours of it.
Excellent, excellent. So, like I was saying, we want to play the live video for "Lose It All." And Keith, you want to tell us a little bit about this song? Kind of set it up.
Yeah, actually, this song's kind of weird, man. It started out in a different key. It was completely a different song.
Different tuning.
Yeah, different tuning. Yeah, and I told Chris in a text message, I said, I really hate this song. And he replied back, I do too. And I was like, great.
Great. So scrap that.
Right. So I said, hey, just do some homework and let's just, just bring it up, And so for myself, I can't speak for Chris, but for myself, I was playing that thing and playing it and playing it and playing it. And I just could not come up with anything that I liked until I tuned my E string down to D and just turned it down. I was like, hey, this kind of sounds cool. And then we all got in a room with it. It was like, hey, and then we just built off of that.
Excellent. Definitely an outstanding track. And let's take a couple quick pause here. We'll play some live video for that for you guys playing "Lose It All" on Talking About Rock.
It's called "Lose It All."
Gather all your dead
Odds and intro.
All right, we're back here on Talking About Rock with the guys from Blackwood. Just checked out some live video there. Outstanding track, guys. So we got some more stuff in the works, right? That's coming on.
Yeah. David, go ahead.
All right, our next release, Chris and I have been going back and forth because this is a big one for him, is Lullaby. And so him and I have been going back and forth pretty hardcore on like album artwork, you know, or not album, single artwork, because we're not going to do an album yet. We're going to keep this single thing alive. So the music is finished. We got the artwork finished, I think. Chris he'll throw the hammer down when that's done, and I think it's pretty close, if not done. And then that'll be out at the end of October. So that's our planned release date for the. I don't know the exact date. I'm telling you, it's the last Friday of October. So whatever that number is what that release date's gonna be.
30th, 31st, right?
Yeah.
Coming, some more tracks coming from Blackwood. Great. And Chris, you were telling me a little bit about before the show about some dates you guys got coming up, right?
Yes, sir. So our next show is October 2nd. We're going to be back at the Ext-In with some really great bands. I think we're going to have a great time. Some other people that maybe haven't seen us live yet. I think they'll be surprised by what we bring to the table.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, it seemed like an amazing show. My co-host Jerry was out there last time. Got to see you folks play that show. He sent me some great shots from it. We'll be sharing that with folks coming up. But yeah, definitely, I love what you guys are doing. I hope you put together an album for it eventually and get that going. The other track on there I thought was great. Train, excellent as well. You know.
Oh yeah, that's slamming. I love that intro.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 tracks you guys got there, they're just great. You know,
I think we're gonna turn some heads in a pretty big way with the next single. We still stay very true to the roots of what we do, but I think we're gonna make some waves with this one.
Great. So Keith, if folks want to know more about you, where should they check you out? Should they check you out on Facebook or just on the streaming services? Obviously, as they can see in the background here, you guys are available on all the streaming services, but
we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Blackwood.
Blackwood Music, right?
Blackwood Music.
Music, yeah.
The website is blackwoodrock.com.
You know, it's funny. The story about this is you can't just name yourself Blackwood, because it could be a place. So
Yeah.
It
wouldn't
is a
allow
place.
us to do
It is a place.
Why? Where? I'm just saying we're Blackwood.
There's
I'm sure there is one. Which
Yeah,
is
I
kinda
think
where
there's
the
a
name
bar
came
called
from.
Blackwood, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but they wouldn't allow us to just choose the name. So it's kind of confusing. Blackwood Music on Facebook.
Yeah, blackwoodrock.com is the actual official website, and we have a store on there, merch, anything that's going on in the band gets posted on there. Yeah, right.
So I got the cool merch. I love the logo, guys. It's great, definitely, for sure. Yeah, it was a little difficult finding some of the stuff on there, but obviously on the streaming services, you guys are the only Blackwood on there. So
Yes.
That's what we want. That's what counts.
Right. Exactly. All right, so cool. All right, well, thank you guys so much for stopping by and chatting with us about your new tracks. We look forward to the other stuff coming out. Sounds great. Keep it rolling. And if you folks out there want to know more about us, you have questions or comments, please feel free to email us at talkingaboutrock@gmail.com. Like us and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, for this interview and others, you can catch the video on YouTube, but now you can catch our podcasts on all the streaming services. You name it, we're on there. Amazon, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Spotify. You can find us all over the place. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right.